In today's video, we are going to be installing a 12 volt always hot power point on our top tray on this F350, and we are also putting a Built-Right on here. I've had this before in previous trucks. I really loved it, so let's go ahead and install this. The challenge with doing this is, number one, we drilled our hole here. We put our Built-Right on. Very easy. That was all done in the previous video. Now we have to install this supplied power wire. We're going to clean this up a little bit by separating the red from the black and kind of organizing it nicely, clipping this here. Now the trick is to route this wire from up here to down in this area, and what we do for that is we take this stiff wire right here. This is what I like to use is a household 12 gauge wire. A 10 gauge would work as well, be a little stiffer. This is a solid core wire. This is just used to fish the wire through the truck, so you have to take minimum things apart because it's going to be hard to route this wire from all the way up here to all the way down there. And once we get down there, I'll show you how we find an easy ground. Real quick, just added 3 shrink tubes to this outside of this just to hold this in place a little nicer. I was able to fish this wire down where I wanted it, and it being a copper 12 gauge wire solid core, it bends, so I'm just bending it over, putting it through the eyelets. So this is how it looks from the bottom end, and let's go ahead and pull this through. I just want to poke out down in here. Hopefully my wire is long enough, and I'll just go ahead and pull it down until I can see my wire. This wire is getting sucked in, as you can see, getting pulled down as I pull this way, and there it is. So we can see our wire, how we tied it up. It's routing down through here, and I don't want to pull it anymore because I don't want it to fall down. And basically at this point, I can go ahead and reinstall everything up top and pretty much be done with this top area. Let's go ahead and do that. For ground, there is a stud that protrudes down. It has a nice thick ground wire on it. Now instead of actually going through the trouble of going through the top side of this, pulling down the cover and everything and unhooking that ground and using it, you can actually use the stud that protrudes down in order to tap into the ground. So that's a nifty little spot for a ground that you don't have to cut anything or move anything. Just the stud comes off or hangs down below, and you can just go ahead and secure a nut and a washer straight to that, and you've got a good ground right there. So this system's up and running. I got a set of headphones right here charging up just to confirm that everything works. Now this is how this looks, super clean. 3 outlets, 3 ports that I can charge off of, and I'm going to show you guys what I do really fast to get a 12 volt hot signal underneath the dashboard without drilling anything, without rounding any wires or anything like that. Now what I'm doing basically is I'm tapping into my mirror spotlight module for my 12 volts. This is a little bit unconventional. I don't necessarily recommend it, but for me, being in a time crunch and not really wanting to run another wire all the way to the battery, I am doing this. Now I've just got it plugged in right now, and I'm actually going to tie it into this wire here. Now the thing about this is we're running a low draw on this circuit, on the OEM circuit. We're not running a 20 amp circuit or anything like that. We're running a low amperage draw circuit, and we're tapping into factory wiring. If our circuit draws too much amperage from this circuit, it could short a wire, but most likely it will probably blow a fuse. With this being said, I've done this on my vehicles in the past, and I've had no issues doing this. So I've kind of tested this. I've hooked them up. This powers your mirror spotlights and whatever other circuit. It's probably a light circuit. I've hooked it up. I've turned on the mirror spotlights on all the circuits and everything, and it won't overload anything or won't pop any fuses or burn any fuses, burn any wires. So this is something that you'd have to do at your own risk. I've taken the risk, as you guys know if you follow the channel. I've taken some risks from time to time, but at the end of the day, it's going to be easier and cleaner for me to do it this way. So I'm going to pull back some of this wiring, and I'm going to tap into this thicker gauge wire right here to get our 12 volts, and it's about the same gauge wire, if not thicker, than what we're tying into. And then we're fused from this point going forward, and obviously the factory wiring is fused as well. And when it comes down to doing all this stuff right, you'd have to add a fuse to the battery, right at the battery, and run a wire through the firewall and have this extra circuit laying around under the hood. And you know, all that's cool if you're going to run some amperage. I would not recommend running a cigarette lighter that you can plug a big air compressor into or anything like that off of this circuit. But just this only takes USB cords, and USB cords just don't pull that much. So like I'm saying, it's a risk, and I've been pretty lucky so far. I've tried this out for a good amount of years and haven't had any problems. So anyway, let me go ahead and wire this up and get this done. This truck don't have mirror spotlights, so this circuit's wasted either way. So anyway, always hot 12 gauge, 12 volt, always hot 12 volt, not 12 gauge, right here on the mirror spotlight cord. So let's go ahead and get that done. My connection's been made. Everything's working and charging. And I just got to clean up all these tools and put everything away. But comment below and let me know what you think about this install on our 7.3 Godzilla F350. And my name is Sean. This is DS Trucks. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next one. Over and out.